know I'm a journalist, and we've got our resident Ivy Leaguer here, Marcellus from the University of Columbia.
Columbia University.
Columbia University, I'm sorry.
South America?
My bad.
What?
We take a deeper look at some of the big issues in sports. You know Columbia really don't belong in the Ivy League anyway.
Oh, don't do us.
We got a special cap for Marcellus here. Darnell, bring it in.
Oh, wow?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Thank you very much. You look clean in that Warren Simpson.
Darnell, I mean, handling like this.
Oh, he got this.
Man, what is that?
That's his ego. I got to deal with it every day. All right, let's move to an issue that flares up in the sports world from time to time. This week, we saw a couple of professional athletes getting into it with fans. In the NBA, the Clippers' Montreal Herald tried to go into the stands to deal with a fan who was heckling him. And in the NFL, Leonard Fournette got into it on the sidelines with a fan he claimed used a racial slur against him. Both of these incidents were caught on tape. Let's take a listen. All right, listen, as the only fan up here, just pure fan, I was never a professional athlete, and I was a fan that liked to heckle. I once cussed out Donnie Walsh from, like, the rafters of the Pacers Arena when I was an 18, 19-year-old kid. I just think the athletes have to realize you're getting paid millions of dollars. The people in the stands aren't. Why argue with or confront or engage with people who have a lot less to lose than you?
Well, one, that purchase of a ticket is not a license to ill. So, you know, you just still have to respect that my rights come at no price. Like, you can't buy away my rights, and it's still a workplace environment. We work here on the Fox lot. Tom Hanks may be next door. Can't run up on that lot. Can't run up on the set. Hey, Tom Hanks, who's up? Security, respect this environment. It's a workplace. A lot of people don't respect a court or a field as really a workplace environment. That's the beginning of this. Then you start to go into what really I think is at the core of this is that fans feel protected, as Stack says, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, that they could throw rocks and then try to hide their hands. And it's funny because they throw shots at these players. And on the court, on the field, all we hear is or boo. But in the stands, it's MF, it's this, your mama, that, or it's like, great job. I think that the NFL, NBA, the leagues need to start to come down with a heavy hand on these fans because we already seen the malice of the palace. What's going to happen now is that these fans feel like they have that license to ill. I am a fan now. I go to every single Charger game. I go to a lot of Clippers games. I'm going to Clippers game tonight. I like to bring my son. He's 3 years old. I don't want to be sitting even in the section of someone who feels like they could disrespect the player that I'm paying, you're paying our hard-earned money to watch them perform. If you can't do that with respect, then I think that you should be disciplined, whether it's the league or by these players.
I don't have an issue with players heckling the fans. I think
you don't have an issue with players heckling the fans.
I don't have an issue with players bouncing back and heckling the fans back. And here's why, because when we watch these videos, we're seeing it from the fans' point of view. If the leagues were to really wanted to get on top of this, start putting cameras in these tunnels. Start putting cameras on these sidelines aiming at the fans because we don't see what is really transpiring from our point of view. All we see is the player looking bad in retaliation. And the fan, there's always a fan with a camera that's making that player look even worse. But that we hear the fan, but we don't see the actions. We don't see the image that goes along with it. We see the image, the body language of the player all the time. I think the leagues as a whole need to get better at, you know what, let's protect our players, not only with the security, but let's put a camera in the stands as well to where we see what is transpiring from their side.
I look at it, too, from your perspective, too, being a fan now. When I go to a game, I hear everything that fans say about players on the court. I'm like, man, when I was playing, that was part of it. I remember a couple times I sent the guy, I said, listen, you really want to talk, I'm going to send you a pass, you can come to the back, okay? Because it got to that point. Now, it depends on where you're at. Montreal Montreal is what, 24? Fournette is 23. When you're young, you got the bravado. You don't think about them things. I think when you get older in the league, you kind of let things slide off your back a little bit more. But when you're younger and people are yelling things out, you may be frustrated at the time. You want some get back. Yeah. You really do. But at the end of the day, Jason, like you said, it's not going to benefit you. I'm going to take it back to Vernon Maxwell. Back when he played for Houston, okay, his daughter was going through a health issue, okay? Fan in the stands in Portland was heckling him. Said something about his daughter. Guess what he did? He ran up in the stands. Okay, the fan, okay, may have been wrong, but at the end of the day, it came back to hurt Vernon a lot more. We talked about Detroit. Yeah. So sometimes I would throw jabs back at people in the stands. Trust me, I would. I was young and I would do it because I felt I needed to defend myself. But as I got older, I'm like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. It's not worth it.
But it is worth it in terms of a respect issue. Let me tell you this. And look, I'm not a fighter. You can say whatever to me. You know me. I mean, you can say, Marcellus, you're amazing, or forget your mama. And I'm like, they landed in the same place because you know what? For me to be insulted, first I got to respect your opinion. So I don't respect your opinion. So good or bad, it just landed nowhere for me. But thank you. I look at it like this. We get callous, we get desensitized as we play longer in the leagues and we become veterans.
Right.
But what do we do as veterans? We always look back at the youngsters. How can we make it better for you, safer for you, respect? This is not a huge issue. Most games I go to, there's only select few who are just out of bounds. Right. But the leagues need to understand that that is all it takes to spoil this entire moment. So start to bring more discipline to those who instigate moments that these players are responding to.
But again, we got to remember who we are. I think... Are you over 40, Greg?
No.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
35.
We're all adults here, over 35. There are young athletes out here, and all I'm talking about is giving them what advice that's in their best interest. There's no win here for them. There's no win for Leonard Fournette and confronting that guy, the Herald guy. There's no win in it for them. When can we move to a place where we're giving the athletes the advice they need so they can stay winning versus because again, Leonard Fournette's job is to run the football.
Yeah.
So again, if I'm the coach or the owner, I'm like, hey man, you're not running the football. You're talking to our fans. I'm paying you millions of dollars to run the football during your work hours. I don't want you confronting a fan.
But Whitlock, the problem with your advice is that it comes at a price which encourages fans to go even farther.
Yes.
That's the only thing. Look, I agree almost
You're
wholeheartedly.
not going to stop fans from yelling.
But you know what? Look, if you they already took away, what was it, New England season tickets for the guy. Hey, I think if I'm in that section or if I'm a New England fan, I'll learn.
So you want more coverage like you talked about.
Yes.
From NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, all of that in regards to curtailing and really coming down on fans that do it. And I'm with you on that because, again, when you're young, the bravado was there. You got to prove something. Hey, listen, man, you ain't going to talk to me like that, especially if something comes out racial like Leonard Fournette said. Now you get personal. But at the end of the day...
Make sure it's said.
Well, no, I don't know why he would lie about it.
Because, look, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Just as a journalist, kid, you got everything I evaluate is through journalistic eyes. If I'm watching a guy if someone yells a racial slur at me, when I'm yelling back at them, I'm like, what the hell did you say? Blah, blah, blah. That's not what he's yelling. He's yelling something about, I'm going to come get me, I'm going to come get you, or you come here. He's not focused on what allegedly was a racial slur. That it doesn't fly with me, and that's always the excuse.
But how he responds, Jason, is different than everybody else. He like, listen, I heard what you said. I'm gonna come holler at you. I heard what you said. You keep talking like that, I'm gonna come holler at you.
2 weeks ago, he's fighting with an opponent, and he got suspended by the NFL. His credibility is just not strong in terms of keeping his emotions. That doesn't
mean it wasn't said.
I understand, but that's my issue because we allegedly have to go off something when if we had a camera looking at the fan the same as it is at these players, then we would know. And to your point, this is still a work environment for us.
I got
and
it.
so if
Do your job.
I'm doing my job, but if
football.
somebody ran in here right now and started heckling us,
would not move
right now, you're saying it would not move you.
COVID,
but
none of these people out here are in control of my emotions.
what I'm saying is, you're 100% correct.
None of them. They can yell anything about me, anybody.
I'm with
not
you
in
there,
control
Whitlock,
of my emotions.
but in New England,
and
he
we
threw a
need
beer.
to. We need to. I get that, but this is about words. And as black people, if we can't at some point quit letting white people control our emotions, because that's all this is. They throw a word and, oh, that's my justification for going crazy. Like, really?
No, I'm
really?
with you there. I'm with you
Really?
there.
No, there's no one in control. I'm in control.
You're right, but they're in control as well. So, I mean, the one who is throwing
Let
it.
that person make an idiot out of himself.
But that's the problem.
You don't have to join them.
They're not making an idiot out
Yes,
themselves.
they are.
No, because we don't talk about them. We talk about the player because that's who we see.
Again, that's not my point, though, because if you catch me anywhere, when I was 18, 19 and yelling at Donnie Walsh, I was making a fool out of myself. And people in the stands that were looking like, this dude. And so, again, regardless whether we talk about it on TV, the person yelling racial slurs, and trust me, he's clowning him or herself. And Leonard Fournette doesn't need to draw attention to that or participate in it and then become a fool himself. They're just not
But
in
that's
control.
a long game summation that he's making a fool of himself. In that moment, this is something that happens in our
He got
society.
suspended 2 weeks ago, Marcel.
No, I'm not talking about
That
Fournette.
was
I'm
an
talking about
on-the-field
the
incident.
fan. Think about it. Our entire society is getting divided based on what people like versus what people respect. And I see a lot of hecklers throwing respect out the window. Don't want to be respected, just want to win that moment. Just want everybody in the crowd to say, yeah, man, you threw the beer and didn't get in trouble.
Exactly.
You said this and then you made that athlete respond. Someone is filming him doing this. Now, the instigator needs to be penalized just like the responder does. And I get it. I have never had my buttons pushed in an athletic environment. I knew what I was walking into. I knew the fine print. But they threw batteries at me in Philadelphia. I've seen it. I've heard it. But we need to protect these guys because when we have the instances that go beyond the borders, we can't sit there and act like we didn't see this coming. These are moments that are giving you the understanding that this is bubbling and boiling over.
And everybody is not equipped to handle it the way we're talking about
We got to equip.
Well, but that's why when you're young, you kind of go through it and figure it out. Because I don't care what you say to a young player. If he got these kind of emotions, until he goes through it and something happens, he still gonna react. I can be a veteran all day long and say, bruh, you need to do this. This is how you need to handle yourself in this situation. But when that situation comes up and all this stuff is boiling up and he lets it out, until then, he can't get past that point, being young.
The point I tried to make, I think, last week, that I'll just say it again, we have a culture, but where we're so, oh, did you disrespect me? Did you?
Yeah.
And first of all, and the point that you made is like, are you even qualified to
that's
disrespect me?
Right.
You're not even qualified. So I could care less. You can't disrespect me because you're not qualified. If your name is Joyce Whitlock or James Whitlock or Yolanda Johnson, the people close to Marcellus Wiley, you called me a name, you've disrespected me. And we're gonna have some words.
Whitlock.
But just some rando?
Whitlock.
No dice.
Look, I give myself credit and I also give myself debit. I own a house on the high road, but I rent an apartment, boy, on that low one. You keep coming at me like that. I don't give a damn who you are. I gotta go see that rental real quick. What's up, bro?
Coming up, LeBron and Dwayne Wade had an epic love fest during their final showdown last night, but was it too much?